Hello, Dan Joss. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
I am well, thank you. So, in one of our previous episodes, we talked about our future self. But what about our future legacies? Our children, our loved ones, our offspring, and family members that we really maybe want to leave something for.
Yeah, we leave something for. My wife mentioned a dynasty.
A dynasty?
Yeah.
Wow,
Forget the past. Let's think about the future.
Okay.
So what can those kids do for the future?
Right, a dynasty.
However you think about it. I did read an article at the National Christian Foundation website this recently, and they start off with a question: would you give your child a big Harley Davidson without them knowing how to ride it?
No.
Yeah, neither would I.
I don't have a big Harley Davidson, nor do I want one.
I wouldn't give it to the kids.
Right.
And their point was, you don't want to give somebody something if they're not ready to receive it, but they don't have the knowledge to use it.
Right, and how to maintain it and take care of it and all those good things.
And so a question to ask for estate planning purposes: what is the role of wealth in our lives? And we've talked about that before. It's a tool, it's a resource, it's something to use. But the article mentioned fuel.
Fuel?
Wealth is fuel.
Okay.
So the question with regards to your children is, what will these resources fuel in your child's life? What's it going to help them do?
Right. Might help them to squander it.
It might. It's definitely going to be unique for each child.
Yep.
What training does your child need to further their story, their future? Will they be able to use the Harley or not? And then consider how much, I guess, once you have those answers, each child is unique, and what do they need to use it, then you can consider how much and in what structure do you give them that fuel.
Okay.
Like you said, they could squander it all. Well, if you give someone a lot of fuel, yeah, they could burn through it.
Right.
But if it's structured the way that they need it to achieve what they want to do, then it's not likely to be burned through.
Yeah.
And some children, and I've much older clients, and so the children are in their 50s or 60s or 70s when they receive an inheritance. So it's not necessarily minor children.
Right.
It will have a different impact.
That's true.
And so they may be in a position to receive a lot of fuel at once because they won't just burn through it. So that's good sense. The idea of accumulating as much as we can, giving it to our children with the least tax possible is old school. Now we're starting to think about what each child needs. They're all different. How do we give it to them a way they can use it?
Yeah.
So those questions work.
It is no longer make sure they all necessarily have the same thing. It's shifted, and perhaps quite appropriately so, make sure they all have what they need.
Start off with, what they need, and consider that. How much do they need to spend, so that they could be independent, productive, content? And then what kind of inheritance could they get to shape them? So positive, life-shaping experience that empower them to develop good values and character. It's different than what I need to spend money on to get around in the world, but to make me a better person. And then to share. We give throughout our lives, and we want to teach them to give some of that in their lives. So
yeah, we certainly hope so.
To spend and to shape and to share.
Spend, shape, and share. I like that.
And then how do I create inheritances that will further our family values?
Right.
So we have to ask ourselves, what are
your family values? Right.
And then how do we use our wealth to further those when we're no longer around? Because we're not doing it anymore. So there's some food for thought.
Yes.
As they say.
Okay, good. So if someone would perhaps like to go have lunch with you and have some more food for thought.
Give me a call, 757-903-2127.
Okay.
And they can look at our website, jossbrown.com.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you so much for being here on Money Talks.
Thank you.
Money Talks is a weekly program presented for the listener's benefit and entertainment. It is provided at no cost to the listener, and the ideas, opinions, and comments are not to be construed as legal advice, tax advice, investment advice, or other advice specific to the listener. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of a licensed professional or other qualified party when dealing with financial, legal, tax, medical, investment, insurance, taxidermy, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, real estate, chiropractic, veterinary, oral hygiene, hot air ballooning, etc. We have given you some food for thought. Now, call a licensed professional such as Dan Joss at 757-903-2127. Thanks for listening, and remember, failing to plan is planning to fail.